chair and relax. I'm Mary Bell Nyman, one of the directors at Psychic Horizon Center. And we've been working, last week we worked on the physical body. And tonight we're going to work on the emotional body. And these are called etheric bodies. So they're made out of energy. So we're going to do a little work on the etheric body, and you can do some healing for yourself. And to start, we always start by grounding. And grounding is just making an energy connection from the very base of your spine to the very center of the earth. Really easy. It's as big around as your hips. So it looks kind of like a slinky, if you're familiar with the toy, the slinky, or like a tree trunk sitting on the cut off tree and letting the roots grow down to the center of the earth. So settle back in your chairs and let yourself get comfortable. And take a couple of deep breaths, turning your energy inward. And just imagine that grounding cord, that connection between the very base of your spine and the very center of the earth. And as you take those deep breaths, it tells the body you're turning off the world around you and you're going inward to your own spiritual space. So it lets you get quiet. You can turn off the day, all the noise, the phones, and just relaxing into yourself. That grounding cord automatically starts to let go of anything that isn't yours. And we're going to work on our emotional body tonight. And this etheric body fits right inside your physical body. And it's just made of energy. Lots of times people associate the emotional body with women, but everybody has one. Sometimes people will tend to pick up everyone else's emotion. And when that happens and it runs through your body, the body can't really tell the difference, what's yours and what somebody else's. So it's important to learn how to differentiate. If it's not yours, you can't solve it. Your own feelings go off and on like a light switch. So in a class this morning, we were working on anger. And if you have 80% of anger running through your body and only 10% of it's yours, that's 70% you can't really deal with because it's not yours. You can't solve it. All you can do is ground it out. The 10% that is yours is easy to handle. So it's really learning how to discern what's yours and what isn't. So just for a minute, say hello to that emotional space of yours. If you were taught that getting angry is a no-no, you might want to rethink that. It's actually a great way to know that your boundary's been invaded. So it's part of the makeup of a body. So just for a minute, take a look and see which of the emotions are really easy for you to have and which of them are a little trickier to have. There's no judgment on this. You're just observing. And take a deep breath and just imagine like pulling the plug in the bathtub, letting your body release down that grounding cord, anything any emotions that are not yours. Just let that grounding cord do the work. This body that you have should be your best friend. It can't lie. It'll always tell you if something is out of balance or when it doesn't feel right. It's always trusting that gut instinct. And anger is a great way to know that your boundary's been crossed or that we have to modify or look at something. When we start to feel uncomfortable, it's kind of like a little red flag popping up and saying, hey, you're not paying attention. So just for a minute, imagine making friends with that space of anger. Let it sit right next to you in a chair. Say, hey, what have you got to teach me? You might be surprised. And instead of being afraid of your anger, really make friends with it. It's a very vital part of you. So just taking a deep breath and kind of imagining an emotional body out in front of you. Kind of like a paper doll, if you remember paper dolls, or a cardboard cutout of yourself. And then looking at energy with your eyes closed, just using your clairvoyance, look and see what kind of emotions are stuck in that emotional body. You might see them as colors. And then you can ask, oh, if there's a navy blue, what does that mean to you? And it might mean something different for each person. So the person you want to trust is you. Trust your body's interpretation. And just ask yourself, is that a color you want to keep in that emotional body? And if it is, validate it. If it isn't, just imagine draining it out and replacing it with a color that feels better to you. You can kind of do that with that whole emotional body. Just look and see the little pockets of energy that you have in that emotional body. Sometimes they might coincide with an ache or pain in the physical body. Amazing how that works. So you might notice, hey, I have all this emotional energy around my stomach, around that third chakra and the solar plexus. Maybe you have a hard time with digestion. It's just curious how these things work, but notice what you notice for yourself. And again, this is your body. You can change anything that doesn't feel good to you. Just imagine wiping it out or draining it out and filling it with a vibration that does work for you. Sometimes you'll see certain areas that might have sadness or grief. And that's kind of an opening up to be loved. And they give you an indication of where you might need more love in the body. So just asking. Just getting curious about all those emotions that run inside you. And think of how many times during the day we change emotion. You're sad, you're happy, you're mad. Everything changes automatically as information is perceived. You can think of emotions kind of like the weather. It's constantly changing. And hey, some of us, we've been talking about weather because it's been so cold and so hot in different places. So some of us have a preference towards one kind of weather over the other. Just like some of us vibrate at one emotion more than another. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. See if you can play a little game with yourself and just ask, what is your kind of go-to emotion? Where do you tend to land on that spectrum? Let's say 50% of your day. Just getting curious. No right or wrong to it. And how much can you be friends with all those emotions in the body? Does it feel overwhelming? Does it feel healthy? Is it in balance? And just talk to that emotional part of you and start to heal it. You can imagine getting a sponge or, again, wiping it off any area that doesn't work for you. Just grounding out or wiping out any emotions that have maybe been there for a long time that don't feel appropriate anymore. And it's kind of nice to begin to heal yourself, to bring it in balance. And then one of the things that we do is when we take out energy, we always fill it with an energy that works for us. So imagine a huge gold sun, twice as big as your body. Set it on the top of your head and pop it and let it flow in, just like liquid gold. Let it flow in and fill the body from head to toe. And decide at least 3 things you'd like to have in this new energy. It could be peace of mind. It could be more trust in yourself, listening to your intuition. It might be something physical, more money, a new car, a new honey. What is it that you want for your next step? Maybe it's a spiritual thing, more clairvoyance, seeing energy. You're only limited by your imagination. So letting some of that energy flow in. And then looking at this emotional body again. Are there any other spots that you missed? Or does it look kind of bright and shiny and happy? Sometimes when we grow up, we have a hard time, we get overwhelmed. And then we start turning off those emotions because they don't feel safe or they might feel too big. And so making room, knowing that the emotions aren't going to overwhelm you so much now, maybe as they did when you were younger, when you're in the teens or younger. Hey, those feelings can be so intense. You don't really know what to do with them. But now you've grown up, there's a capable adult on board. And so it's much easier to handle and understand your feelings. So giving yourself more space to have those feelings and not judging what emotion is present. Are you going to be happy 24/7? I don't think so. Most people aren't. Again, it's like the weather. You kind of go through waves of energy. So giving yourself permission to feel what you feel. Look at it like a scale. What is the hardest emotion for you to feel? What feels scary? And what is the easiest emotion? And look at those two opposite ends. See what they are for you. Sometimes, if you don't know, you can ask yourself, what is it in someone else, in one of your friends or your family? What's the hardest emotion to be around? It could be critical energy or anger. What is the easiest emotion to be around? You might look at one of your best friends. What do you love about them? Maybe it's their laughter, their ability to play. Because what we notice in others is usually what we have in ourselves. So much easier to see it in somebody else. So you have to be a little bit amused. You could even make a list of things that are really hard for you emotionally, and then give yourself permission to start to make friends with them. Sometimes, if you've spent a life stuffing things down or denying them, hey, that's a great time to go see a therapist and have them help you dig out some of those emotions because they're really good at it. And that's a safe person you could trust. So sometimes, if those feelings have been buried for a long time, therapists are the perfect person to connect with. I'm real careful around my students. We do a lot of reading, and some of those things are going to come up. But if they're really having a lot of emotional energy releases, I like to send them to a therapist because I think that's a great way to clean out that energy. And then they can do the spiritual part of it a lot easier. Learning to ask for help with your feelings is also a great sign of strength and courage. It takes courage to do this kind of work. So, any of you that are in that area, don't feel hesitant to reach out and ask and find a therapist that you can work with. That's a great way to heal yourself. If you take a couple of deep breaths, and then one of the things that I find fascinating about working in the spiritual realms is anything that bugs you in someone else is usually a trigger for something that's buried in you. So looking and thinking of your friends or your family, and find one emotion that you find hard to be around. Everybody got one? And then kind of ask yourself, you're playing a game. Who in your life exemplified that or ran that emotion? Who does it trigger in you? Is it a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a sibling? What do you notice? Just getting curious, because we're very much like onions. You have a core center, and then we have all these layers of feelings and emotions. And so sometimes you'll get rid of an emotion and hey, it's back in a week. You're like, hey, what the heck? I got rid of this. It's like, yeah, you peeled that layer. It's awesome. Gold star. And then next week might trigger it again and again until finally you get through that to the very core. And once you heal it, it pretty much doesn't bug you anymore. But it's always easier to see in someone else than it is in ourselves at first. You might notice for yourself in that same vein, what are some of the things that you feel like you didn't get as a child? Maybe you felt like you weren't supported in one area of your life or another. These are the kinds of things that are going to be triggered in that emotional body. So get curious. It's a Saturday night. You got no place to go. Look inside yourself and see what you discover. Once you make friends with those feelings and kind of work through them, then you get to a place where you can forgive them and they fall away. But it takes a little bit of work to get there. Take a deep breath. And notice what needs you might have underneath those feelings. It might be acceptance, it might be self-esteem, security, love. Just notice for yourself, what is it that that part of you is asking for? And can you give that to yourself? So put another big gold sun up there above your head and fill it full of that vibration, whatever it is that you need. Just giving yourself a little bit more of that. And self-acceptance is such a great one. Can you be your own cheerleader instead of your own critique? If you have that voice in your head that's constantly judging you, hey, has it ever said anything worthwhile? No, it's always negative. Fire it. Get rid of it. Let yourself become your cheerleader, where you're really cheering yourself on. And it's a kind of fun way to live where you recognize, it's kind of that feeling when you get all the laundry done. It's like, I did it. It's just this maybe only lasts 30 seconds, but it's like a moment of congratulations. Or you get your work done at work, whatever it is. But learn to really give yourself validation for those simple things. And to me, when you look at this profound level of emotion, hey, sometimes it takes years of time to dig through it. So if you try and rush it, it really doesn't work. It's like really talking to yourself, that inner voice, and listening and building up that confidence and that trust. And that goes with you a long way. So denying something just won't get you anywhere. It's like you got to work through it no matter what it is. So giving yourself that space. And I think to me, it's like, everything on earth is a dichotomy: hot, cold, day, night, male, female. So we kind of work both sides of everything. And I think that's the same with emotions. You're seesawing back and forth. Can I have anger? Can I have love? Can I have fear? Can I have joy? So you're looking at both sides of the coin and finding acceptance. Then in many ways, you can be in a space of neutrality where, hey, you could have either side. There's a lot of power in neutrality. If someone comes over and they're telling you a story and it's really intense and you get pulled into it, you really can't be of as much assistance to them as if you were neutral and you could just listen to their story. Then you have a better idea of how you could assist them. So finding that place of neutrality, finding that place where you can be present but not have to fix them. You can listen and you can actually see an answer. And to see if you can find that neutrality within yourself. Sometimes if you want to feel really powerful, you have to be able to say hello to that vulnerability within you as well. And knowing that nobody ever stays in like joy or happiness 24/7. It comes and goes. So not expecting yourself to be perfect or be Saint Teresa. I'm sure she had Mother Teresa. I'm sure she had some bad days. I'm sure Gandhi every once in a while had a negative thought, but they're great examples of trying to find that place of neutrality and acceptance with the people all around them. That's why we really always have such great um, emotions towards them, because they're great at showing us a different way of being. So doing the same for yourself, giving yourself that space. Sometimes we're learning how to work with the difference between thoughts and feelings, between what we think and what we feel. And on a rational level, something makes sense, but we may not be happy about it. So again, looking at thinking versus feeling. Our feelings develop long before our mind does. So saying hello to that part of you and breathe. Any place that you feel blocked where it's hard for you to have a feeling, or you might find yourself saying, I don't know how I feel. Hey, that's a great time to start to experiment and see if you can dig a little deeper. Because blocked feelings lots of times contribute to physical ailments. So, what you believe on a rational level might make sense, but you might not be happy about it. So, again, you've got to just be there for yourself. How you handle your feelings is up to you. It's kind of like responsibility, it's your ability to respond. How you respond is up to you. So, taking a deep breath, allowing yourself to feel where you are, and just notice, is there permission to feel both sides, both the negative and the positive? Part of us sometimes might feel that when we work on the emotional body, that those emotions are dangerous, or, hey, what if I get out of control? Hey, nobody dies. Giving yourself that space to open up into that feeling. It always feels like it's going to be too big or bigger than you. And yet, when you sit it beside you, it's not so scary. So, if you get to know anger or you get to know fear or sadness They always have a message that they bring that helps you heal. So giving yourself a little bit more room to have those feelings and see what you discover. Take a deep breath and create out in front of you a big, beautiful rose. You can make it any color. And just pull out of your space any emotions that have been hard for you this lifetime. And just put them inside the middle of that big, beautiful rose. And pop it. Let that energy go. The way a spirit works is really brilliant. It keeps recreating the same kind of situations again and again until that core is blown or is gone. So it's kind of like having relationships. You might find you attract the same kind of people. And it's like, hey, out of a group of women or a group of men, how come I keep picking the same model? And it can be really frustrating. But you as a spirit are steering you towards the answer. Once you can get through that kind of energy that is the common denominator, then you never create it again. You stop drawing that pattern. So it's interesting how the spirit part of us attracts exactly what we need. And a lot of this comes from childhood. Things that we didn't get or things that we got that we wish we hadn't. Some of the traumas. And one of the ways we heal trauma is by being present with it and just beginning to release it. Giving yourself, again, space and permission to find what your truth is underneath it. And being so gentle with yourself. It's like really learning how to become your own best friend. Because think about it. If a friend comes to you and they've had a hard day and they're feeling all this energy of anger or fear, wouldn't you be kind to them? Wouldn't you be patient? And so, just like you would give that to someone else, giving that to yourself, giving yourself that room to allow that energy to melt out of you, whether it's sadness or grief or feeling vulnerable. Hey, sometimes that's when we're the most present. We might feel vulnerable, but it takes a lot of courage to get to that place. So really saying hello to it and giving yourself a little bit more permission and a little bit more courage to have that. And take a deep breath again. And just kind of ask yourself, what is at your core self? What is the emotion that you find you're working with all the time? You could say, who did you have to become in order to get acceptance from your family or your friends? So part of us operates off of our true authentic self, and part of us operates off, this is what I have to do in order to be accepted or to be loved, because all of us want that love. So just decide right now, you're going to love all parts of you. It's a great day to start over. Just giving yourself that level of self-nurturing that you can expand it through all parts of the body, that you can really start to transform who you are. Just ground and relax and enjoy that space you're in. Notice your heart energy and let that heart open up. Sometimes there's a wanting or a longing or desiring, and just asking yourself, what is it that you really want? Give yourself permission to know more of you, to see more of you, to know and hear and experience more of who you, the true inner being, is. And just relax, let it open. You're there to learn, to see more, have more awareness of who you are as an immortal soul working through a body. And what color do you experience in that part of you? What's that color of loving yourself? And can you give yourself that self love, that trusting who you are, that you have all the right answers just for you? They're not outside yourself, they're inside. And when we get quiet, we can hear it. We can have that part of us. And so, giving yourself that tonight, as you open that heart, just giving yourself all those things that you've been wanting, maybe your whole life, to be loved for who you are, for what you bring, what you offer the world. We each have gifts. I think the more you can shine your light and live the truth of your gift, the happier you are. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in the physical world, it's hard to stop and really listen to the answers inside us as spirit. And yet, that inner voice is never wrong. Breathe. Good job. And create one more gold sun above your head. And ask to feel in your body what the inner being in you is wanting to give to you. What is the soul immortal part of you? What gift is it ready to offer your physical body? Maybe it's support or understanding. Maybe it's total love. And just let go of any energy that keeps you from having this all the time. And fill that gold sun with that. Asking to see all that the being that's you, the immortal part, all that it knows, to get a sense of it. And put it in that gold sun and pop it. And fill in all those places inside where maybe you felt empty or you didn't know you could have it. And just breathe as that energy flows through you. As you have more of that awareness of your true self, you'd be amazed at what you're capable of. There isn't anything you can't do. Because as a divine spirit, you're all part of source. There is no other thing you can be. We're all part of that oneness. And the more you feel that inner connection, the easier your life gets. You stop looking at everybody else for the answer because you know it's inside you. All you have to do is get quiet and listen. And be so gentle and loving with yourself. It's such a great way to live. Just like in a relationship, you want that other person, that partner, to be gentle to you and to really see you. And that's what you need to do with yourself. Let that spirit part of you through so your body can have it. I think it's one of the greatest gifts we can give each other, or you can give to yourself as you walk in the world around others. All right, take a deep breath. You can thank that body for showing you some of the emotions that you were working on tonight. And find a color or a vibration that when we end tonight, you'll feel comfortable in. And just validate yourself. It takes a lot of courage to do some of this work, and just be proud of you. As a spirit, let your body know how proud you are of it. Next week, we're going to work on the mental body. And this is sometimes what dictates that emotional body.